Hello and welcome to CNR Extra. My name is Nanatufo Boateng. Coming up, two persons found in possession of a human head following an accident involving the vehicle they were traveling in have been arrested by the Hobo police in Ghana South.
Creates a difference in panic to the residents within Bulgarian electoral area because this is the first time of experiencing this.
NPP places ban on campaigning 24 hours to start of polls.
We are saying that 24 hours to the election, campaigning ought to cease.
Also coming up, farmers in Larabanga in the Savannah region threaten to take the law into their hands if the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources does not intervene to prevent the elephants from the Mole National Park from destroying their farms. And later in the news, a member of parliament for Ayawaso West, Wagon, assures of efforts to safeguard students at Ideal College following clash between students and armed men over a land dispute.
The security forces are here to protect you. They have spoken to the commander. She's been here. The people will continue being here until the issue is completely resolved.
Many thanks for staying with us. On CNR Extra, we discuss the stories that made it into our major bulletin, CNR. And of course, to help me with this discussion here in the studio is my colleague, Philip Nilate. Good morning, Philip.
Good morning, Nana Tufo.
Looking sharp.
You're looking dapper.
Right, grateful to have you. So we'll go straight into, of course, the stories, and then we'll bring you a discussion on some of the major ones as was captured in the news bulletin. First off, we're starting with some crime and security issues, and we'll narrow it down to the issue of ritual murders. Now, report or the news had it that two men have been arrested by police in Ghana South for having in their possession a human head. Now, this happened after a vehicle they were traveling in was involved in an accident. Let's bring you that clip from the city newsroom, and then after Philip and myself will have a discussion on this developing story.
Two individuals are in the grips of the Hobo police in the Ghana South municipality for being in possession of a human head. The exhibit was found in the vehicle they were traveling following an accident. Central Regional Correspondent Calvis Tete has more.
The suspects were apprehended by residents nearby who saw the freshly chopped head in a taxi cab with registration number GW 5532-21 and later handed them over to the police after the vehicle was involved in an accident. An eyewitness to the incident, Daniel Maiga, spoke to City News.
Rescue me. Do one now, but who pay down? Be down, driver no, be and business. But so at the end also, a break like a move. What kind of sana? So at this time, if you say, Obisa one side and I no peer, we say, Baku pure outside. And I could not purchase it, Bakuna pure or fast. Into fast, you know. And now I like now go to soon. I say, a big quiet, is a hand, I'm cutting also before me and Baby no what Johnny. Later on, when I make call, if a pure village, and walk born, I'm say, never happy when me feeling. Until I was so friend assemblyman, and to assemblyman, later before me do fear assemblyman, or people friend back, assemblyman say, how much never back now. I'm going to chance the police station or short statement. Like, let Mujani was a Nipati that can in him. fresh that can.
City News sources say one of the suspects involved in the act is a taxi driver and lured his accomplice, also another taxi driver, to assist him carry out the action for a handsome reward. He reportedly convinced the other accomplice that human sacrifice was another avenue that fetched him money and also needed human head to sacrifice for a chieftaincy position. The two hired the services of a taxi driver and later slaughtered him at the sun-winning site at the outskirts of Hobo Township, and whilst they were making away with the head, got involved in an accident. The entire community is crippled with fear. Peter Adonu, Assemblyman for Hobo, while speaking to City News on the incident, called for enhanced security in the area.
None of them is known. The incidents creates a difference in and panic to the residents within Hobo electoral area, because this is the first time of experiencing this. And today is a taxi driver who we did not know him. But probably tomorrow, if it's not you, it will be me or my son or my daughter. So that creates a great or big confusion, fear, and panic to the people in my community, including myself. The chief, Togbi Hobo, and the opinion leaders in the community, including the assembly member, myself, we are appealing to the government that we can't take the law into our own hands. That's why we are appealing to the government to come to our aid with security 24/7, so that the panic in the people will reduce, so that it can help the day-to-day activity in the community.
Well, that's the story there, as captured by a correspondent in the Central Region, Calvis Tete. What we know now, I mean, the update now is that the case has been transferred from the Gas South Police Command to the national headquarters for investigations to follow. Now, Philip, it looks like the issue of ritual killings is actually on the rise. We've recorded a number of cases quite recently, and I mean, a number of factors can be attributed to this. But really, what could be pushing people into ritual killings? But let's set it off from this particular story that we just saw. These are two taxi drivers. I mean, one engaging the services of another, convincing him that really ritual murder is something that fetches him extra money. And then the two of them engaging the service of a third, but ending up killing the third. I mean, you heard from the eyewitness there, the head was freshly chopped, and you could see blood actually around it in that clip we just saw.
First of all, I would congratulate the residents of Hobo who alerted the police upon seeing that particular situation. And it's like you indicated, it's something that is becoming one too many, because we noticed one in Kaswa, another one too likely happened at OEB, where the 11-year-old girl was
a businessman wanted to sacrifice the daughter.
But we was, I would think that it's all about poverty, or individuals or people want more money, and people in a way are finding better ways to make money. But that is not the way to go. I going in for ritual killing and coming in, getting money, or getting money out of as a result of that. I think that the police, if they are going to, if they have commenced on investigations, the investigation should go on well and come out with a report that will state that A or B is culpable, or A or B have been sentenced to this number of years in prison or something of that sort, so that it's going to deter others from doing it. It looks like it's becoming one too many, and the easy way for people to go to find money now is we are going for ritual killing. Also on the various televisions, we've seen that people are openly advertising.
So there's been an increase in on-air advertising of by fetish priests, of course.
So people tend to believe that this is a way we can go to easily get money or raise funds or be rich. And also the assembly member was asking for security in that particular community. I believe that it's a step in the right direction, that the Hobo community should be beefed up, or security in that particular community should be beefed up. But nonetheless, we should be our own security men and women. We should put our own security into our hands, Because when you are going somewhere, you know that where you are going is not something that you are safe about. You should have it at the back of your mind that you wouldn't go and get yourself in a situation where you'll be killed or you'll be used for ritual purposes and all that. But I think that the Hobo community members did well. Security must be beefed in the community, and I think that what they did is what I would term as community dog watch, ensuring that every individual who comes into the community is noticed. Because if you are a new person, certainly we wouldn't know where you are coming from. And if your demeanor is fishy, we have to question you. And this brings me to the issue of the community members. If you're in a community and you notice that there is someone there that you are not so sure about it, you should contact the police, you should contact the opinion leaders, you should contact someone who you think that will be able to identify who that particular individual is. So I think the investigation as well must go on well. We shouldn't stop in a way, because it should get to the latter. It should get to the stage where we will know the outcome of the investigation. And I think Hobo community members should also be informed of the outcome of the investigation.
I agree. I mean, I think the investigation should follow through, and then of course the case should go to trial and then punishment be carried out. We know that per section 46 of the Criminal Code of 1960, that's Act 29, murder is a first-degree felony punishable by law. However, since 1993, I mean, really the death sentence has been more or less ineffective. But notwithstanding, I mean, we're having so many cases. There was the Kaswa case where two teenagers killed a 10-year-old boy. Recently, we heard that the judge on the case, that's Justice Lydia Osei-Mafo, actually shed tears in court when the case was being heard. And then, of course, there's the EB one where the businessman allegedly sought to sacrifice his daughter. So really, I mean, these cases are on the rise. We need to beef up security. And in doing so, we should also be picking up intel so that we can stop some of these things even before they do happen. But let's move on to the next story. And quite recently, somewhere last week, we saw videos rife on social media about a clash between students of Ideal College, that's the Legon branch, and of course some men seen in police uniform, others of course in mufti. And we understand this had to do with a demolition exercise that was planned or scheduled to take place on a piece of land where the school also is allegedly putting up an assembly hall. The students claim they went there to rescue their director, whom they also claim was being heckled or manhandled by these men, and this resulted in a clash. The Member of Parliament for Yawaso West Wogon, Lydia Al-Hassan, of course, in whose constituency the Legon branch of Ideal College is, has given some assurances to the students. The details captured in this clip as was aired on CNR.
Now, the Member of Parliament for Ayawaso West Wogon constituency, Lydia Al-Hassan, has assured of the safety of students of the Legon campus branch of Ideal College. This follows a clash between students of the school and some armed men over the demolition of a foundation for an assembly hall on the school premises. Now, the armed men claimed the said land was a state land and had been taxed to reclaim it. There's more in this report.
The legislator believes the presence of security officers is needed to ensure a smooth learning environment. 23 of the students have received various degrees of injuries and have since been discharged from the hospital. But with a few weeks to the commencement of the West African Certificate examination, some say they have been traumatized by last week's disturbances. The Member of Parliament for the constituency paid a visit to the injured students and expressed her disquiet about the incident.
By what I saw on social media, what I saw this morning as a mother, as your director rightly said, I cannot sleep without coming to see how you are faring, without coming to see the shock, the anxiety, the pain, the trauma that you are going through.
The clash was occasioned by an attempt by some armed men to demolish a structure on the premises of Ideal College. They claimed the structure is on a state land and they have been instructed to reclaim it. Lydia Al-Hassan, however, assured the students that security arrangements have been put in place to ensure last Thursday's event does not repeat itself.
The security forces are here to protect you. They have spoken to the commander. She's been here. Her people will continue being here until the issue is completely resolved. Yours is to focus on your books. No worries. Don't ever hazard any guest or worry that they may be coming at you again. So you'll be anxious and you'll be having sleepless nights. Just focus on the purpose for which you are here, which is your books, and all the rest will be taken care of.
So that's the clip on the clash at Ideal College, and of course the update there where the MP for the area is requesting police presence to ensure the safety of the students. But let's backtrack to last Thursday when the students clashed with these armed men. So the story so far is that the land in question supposedly is government land that is supposed to be reclaimed by Messrs. Inoc Holdings Limited, which is run by Mr. Clement Jato. This company has been appointed by government to reclaim government lands that have been illegally encroached upon. And so the purported demolition exercise was to be carried out by Messrs. Inoc Holdings Limited, of course, led by Clement Jato. But then we understand that the director of Ideal College insists that the demolition was rather being done on a land belonging to the college where they were putting up an assembly hall. There was some back and forth, and of course the students went in there supposedly to rescue their director from the grips of these men, and this led to the clash. But you see, what this brings to the fore once again is the issue of police professionalism, how police disperse a crowd, not necessarily a rioting crowd, by a crowd, how the police handles such situations, and of course officers involved, what becomes of them, because we're seeing this issue. We can list them, what happened in Ejra, the Nkranza issue. Recently we saw Islamic Senior High School in the Ashanti region, and now we are hearing of Ideal College here in Accra. And
also with the issue that happened with the Arise Ghana demonstration, we also noticed something of that sort. I would say that there needs to be a dialogue or a consensus, a stakeholder engagement, the management of the school, government, and Clement Jato.
Because it looks like it's not the first time an issue of such between Ideal College and Inoc Holdings.
Exactly. So I think that the students shouldn't be involved in this because they went in to educate themselves or to get education. They went in to study. They went in to learn. So I don't think that they should be fighting for...
Exactly. And that's where you have a problem with the director of the school, because Clement Jato insists or alleges that it was the director who incited the students and got them involved.
Exactly. So when there is a consensus, there is a dialogue, we tend to find out what really the issue is and how we should resolve it. And if the director of the institution happen to have gotten the students involved, he should have questions to answer. And why will you get students involved at this point? Because they are in there to learn.
And this is your private business.
Exactly. So because when the management of the school spoke about this, they indicated that they didn't know whether the armed men were police officers or not. So we need to go deeper into this and find out who really the men were, and also how we can resolve this issue amicably.
All right, let's now take you to the Savannah region, where some farmers in the Larabanga area are having cause to complain. Their case is that elephants from the Mole National Park have been destroying their farm, the latest of which has to do with about 20 farms that have been destroyed. Now they are threatening to take the laws into their own hands. Here's a report on that story.
You're welcome back to the City Newsroom. Now, the Assembly member for Larabanga in the Savannah region, Amidu Karim, is alleging that more than 20 farms have been destroyed so far this year by elephants from the Mole National Park. He and other farmers in the community are threatening to take matters into their hands if the government and the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources does not intervene to ensure sanity. Now, they accused the park and the Forestry Commission of turning deaf ears to their annual report of the raiding of their farms by animals from the Mole National Park, hence their resolve. City News' Savannah regional correspondent Richard Fogo has the details.
Mole is Ghana's first, largest and most prestigious protected area. The park is noted for its outstanding natural, physical, historical and cultural values. It covers an area of 4,577 kilometers square. Mole is rich in biodiversity and home to some 742 vascular plant species and over 90 mammal species, among others. Thousands of visitors, both from within and outside Ghana, visit the park annually. The park's entrance is reached through the nearby town of Larbanga. Though the park is a great success story for Ghana, the challenge of containing animals within the park is posing a serious problem for local communities, such as farmers in Larbanga. Their farms offer a tempting source of food for roaming elephants, and in some instances, whole farms have been destroyed in the process. The farmers and youth of Larbanga say their farms are raided every year by animals from the Mole National Park. The assembly member for the community, Amidu Karim, told journalists elephants have raided 20 farms already this year and wants something to be done about it.
So far this year, the report I had is about 20 farms that have been destroyed. And then my youth and then the old men and the ladies, the women, appealing for the government, Ministry of Land and Natural Resources, to come to our aid. NGOs, in other words, donors, to come and support them. This year, I think they visited about, they destroyed one man's farm about 3 times, 4 times, and the other ones 5 times. You can't even count. So we are appealing for the Minister of Land and Natural Resources, our MP, Honorable Samuel Abu Jinapo, to come to our aid and support the farmers.
Abu Wana's farm is about 5 kilometers away from the park. His yam and cassava farm was raided by elephants on Saturday. He lamented his loss as he conducts journalists around the farm. Another farmer, Seidu Isahaku, also shared his frustrations with us.
Until the say, mobile from Namami. Say, but mobile boy, more boy.
Mono, mobile game for money.
May think of one money now, or wanting Bakura. I be fear home in at your feet, at your Miancasa feature, I recall.
For the youth of the community, the government, through the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, does not intervene.
Recently, we were told that they are bringing cassava production company. If the elephants are worrying us, where can we get the cassava for them to produce the gari that they want to supply? This is the time. The youth unemployment here is very high. We are appealing to the government. Look, there have always been a way that we can do this things holistically. Why is it that the team keep coming up and down, giving us faulty promises? We are appealing to the government henceforth to act. The assemblyman has been doing his best. It is not enough. The MP can do better than he's doing. We want to see him in this community, do his best for the community, and the country will worship him.
The authorities, and want them to act now, or else they will face our wrath. And when we rise up, the whole Ghana will know that Larbanga has rise up. And we are rising up to protect the future of the youth in this community and their generations and generations unborn.
Though the Mole National Park is serving a lot of good purpose for the country, animals there continue to destroy farms of the people of Larabanga who farm several kilometers away from the park. As you can see, the farm here has been destroyed by elephants. The park has not been able to assist farmers here any year it happens. They are calling on government and the ministry in charge to come to their aid. From the farms of Larabanga, I am Richard Fogo for City News.
So elephants competing with farmers, of course, for the produce of the farmers themselves. Now there seems to be, a pattern can be drawn because this seems to be happening around July. Last year, around July, same thing happened. And there's also another pattern that can be drawn because they are calling on the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources to intervene. That's Samuel Abu-Jinapo.
Again, who is encroaching what?
Is it
the farmers who are getting closer to the Mole
park?
National Park, or the authorities of the Mole National Park are not up and doing to ensure that the
elephants stay within
the park? So I think that the ministry has to work on it fast, because the farmers are saying that they are going to take the law into their hands, and that may be chaotic.
Exactly.
And we wouldn't want to get to that extent where they are going to take the law into their hands, maybe shooting the elephants or killing the elephants. So I think that the stakeholders must meet immediately, and the issue has to be resolved and find out the territory for the farmers and that of the So I think,
well, we've had management of the Mole National Park give some assurances as to efforts being made to restrict the elephants from going into the farms of these farmers and destroying their produce. They also mentioned that there's been some level of training for the farmers to ward off the elephants. This is an update to that story, having spoken to management of the Mole National Park. But remember, the show is interactive. We'd like to know what you make of the stories that have been discussed so far. You can send in your thoughts and your comments via the WhatsApp line 0550 585832. 0550-585832. Send us your thoughts and your comments via WhatsApp on 0550-585832, and we'll be sure to read them out. But you're still watching CNR Extra here on City TV. Still to come. New Patriotic Party NPP places ban on campaigning 24 hours to start of polls. We'll bring you the details shortly. Stay with us.
Creamy Plus is a fully skimmed evaporated milk. Creamy Plus is available in a shop near you.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Worship Hymn. Mayura Mioklu, in conjunction with the Music Therapy Association of Ghana, a member of the World Federation of Music Therapy, is inviting you to an evening of uplifting worship with the theme Speaking to Yourselves in Psalms, Hymns, and Spiritual Songs, singing and making melody in your heart to the Lord. Ephesians 5:19. Come and experience an atmosphere of worship in this concert with Mayura Mioklu, Maulom Bacha, as well as other ministers of song. It's happening at the Makene Church International Headquarters, Oyubi, on Sunday, 17 July 2022 at 6 p.m. prompt. This concert will provide sign language translation for the hearing impaired. Worship Him. It's a night of pure worship. It's your night of redemption. Let's all come to worship Him.
You're welcome back. This is CNR Extra on City TV. My name is Nanatufo. I'm in the studio with Philip Nilate, and we're having a conversation, a discussion on some of the stories that made it into our major news bulletin. So moving on to our next story, of course, it has to do with the New Patriotic Party, the NPP, the ruling party, and they go to the polls to elect national executives this weekend, the 16th and 17th of July. We understand that arrival is supposed to start on Friday the 15th, but then really the action takes place on the 16th and the 17th of July. The party ahead of the polls has outlined a number of measures, some do's and don'ts, and of course some changes to their rules concerning internal elections. We have details of that in this particular clip.
On the New Patriotic Party, the NPP has directed all candidates for various national executive positions to end campaign 24 hours before start of elections on Saturday, July 17. This, according to the party, is part of measures to ensure discipline in the internal reorganization process. Now, with 5 days to the start of the conference, the party wants candidates to adhere strictly to the rules. There's more in this report.
As campaigning enters its last days, most of the candidates are either racing against time to visit or revisit some regions, while others are fine-tuning their home stretch strategies. Some campaign team members tell City News this period of visits is strategic to either strengthen the candidate's base or tie a loose end. The party has, however, directed all campaigns to end 24 hours before the start of polls on Saturday.
We are saying that 24 hours to the election, campaigning ought to cease. That's a new one we are trying. So the rule now that we've put out, the guideline, more or less, is that from the midday of the 15th, Friday the 15th, we don't expect any noise-making, organized noise-making, bussing of supporters or bringing together of supporters, musical groups, noise, more or less continuous campaigning right till the period when we vote. We don't expect any of that.
City News sources close to some of the campaign teams say the last week is also being used to finalize the list of polling agents to represent their respective candidates. Meanwhile, the planning committee of the NPP National Conference says it's more than ready to receive delegates on Friday.
The responsibility of the planning committee is to ensure that the venue is right, to ensure that the logistics, boarding and lodging is right, and to ensure that the electoral process is right, which means the electoral commissions coming to supervise, the polling stations are right, ballot papers are being printed, and people will come in on the day, be received well, have a place to sleep, rest, eat, relax, and come. And when you come, expected to find your place where you will sit or you'll be called to vote, and you go in there, you find your name in there, and you vote comfortably for the people you want to vote for.
The party, however, has advised the candidates to adhere to all rules relating to the conference, particularly the ones banning extravagant campaigns. As a result, the candidates have been instructed to pull down any billboard used for the purpose of campaigns.
For the past few congresses, we've tried to bring a different approach to internal elections as compared to national elections. So we take a cue from the last 3 years, almost 4 years in Koforidua, where we had issues with billboarding and therefore decided that progressively we'll reduce the general public aspect of internal communication elections.
Some candidates who have started adhering to the directive believe it's in the utmost interest of the party.
For me, as a party faithful, I know that it's the council that determines what we should do. So whatever the National Council says, I abide by it. And I've been a party man right from '92. And I obey the rules and I obey the regulations set by the party council. And I believe that is final. And we are going to cooperate to ensure that the people of Ghana will know that the party NPP is a disciplined party and we obey the rules. We obey what our elders and our party leadership says.
NPP goes to the polls on Saturday because really that's when the election itself will take place. The Sunday is for a Thanksgiving service. Over 5,000 delegates expected to cast their ballots to elect 10 national officers. I am here thinking that really the hot ones to look out for is that of the chairmanship race, yes, and then the general secretary.
I think the national organizer too.
National organizer as well. We know that the national chairman, as it is now, Freddie Blay, is no longer contesting. And so really, we're expecting a hot fight between Stephen Intim, who is actually a veteran in this, and then of course Stephen Asamoah Boateng. So the battle of the Stephens. And then also there's General Secretary John Boadu, the incumbent, coming against the likes of Musa Superior. There's Charles Bisiu, and then also there's what's his name, Justin Frimpong Kudia as well. Over 5,000 delegates expected at the Accra Sports Stadium over the weekend.
So the directive coming from the party should be adhered to, because we wouldn't want to, at the end of the process, it's not being smooth. We want a smooth process this weekend, this Saturday, so that questions will not be asked that, okay, why didn't the process go smoothly? And you know, it's these candidates who are leading their supporters. So whatever you say and you tell your supporters, they are certainly going to listen to it. So like you heard the Yababi Asamoah indicating, the Director of Communications, saying that all candidates should stop campaigning 24 hours to the time, and also no noise making, bassing of supporters and all that is not allowed 24 hours to that particular period, so that everything will be in line. Then the election can go on smoothly. Then the NPP can have the leadership they want for the party.
Now, mind you, they also have the election of a flag bearer to deal with after they are done with that of their national executive. So really, I mean, all these internal reorganization they are doing is to help streamline the process to ensure a smooth election. And of course,
we didn't want this thing to happen when the regional elections was done, and also the constituency. So we should find ways and means to. And also very important, the pulling down of billboards, posters. That I think must be adhered to, because normally when elections come to an end, you see a number of billboards all over the place, posters all over the place. I want to make Accra the cleanest city in Africa.
In Africa.
So we should get things done properly so that the place will not be seen as very messy, so that at the end of the day we will say that we had a smooth process.
Right. So leadership of the party, of course, issuing out a number of guidelines or directives to ensure discipline, all as part of the internal reorganization process. The number to send us your thoughts or your comments on is 0550-585832. Let us know what you think about the stories we've brought you so far. That of ritual killing, 2 persons being arrested in Hobo in Ghana South. And then also we've brought you the story of the elephants destroying farms of some farmers in Larabanga in the Savannah region. We've seen that of the NPP and all the internal reorganization they are doing going into the polls this weekend to elect their national executives. Let's move on to another issue or story that has really generated some public discourse, where a private developer has more or less pulled down a building belonging to the Bulgarian embassy in Ghana. Now, in this clip, we'll hear of the assurances that government has made to compensate the Bulgarian government.
The government of Ghana has agreed to pay financial compensation to the government of Bulgaria. The Bulgarian embassy, located on the Kakramadu Road in East Cantonments in Accra, was demolished by a private developer in 2017. The government commissioned a sole inquiry into the matter. The sole inquiry recommended sanctions against the supposed private developer who caused the destruction of the embassy's building. City News' Kojajiman has the full story on the assurance to pay compensation to the Bulgarian government.
Wednesday's meeting was to deliberate on how the two countries would ensure that the recommendations of the sole inquirer on the property in contention would be put into action. The lands minister and the Bulgarian ambassador outlined some areas that need attention.
The issue of the embassy's property touches the very core of any diplomatic sensitivity. So, in our view, this matter should be finally resolved because it took us 3 decades, and this issue empoisoned cooperation. So Ghana has closed its embassy in Sofia. We were at the level of chargé d'affaires, then we also closed temporarily the embassy. And I see that part of this process is this issue that lasts for too much.
I think that a substantial part of the problem is resolved with this kind of attitude, and I believe that if we work hand in gloves, we should be able to resolve this. And for me, the point you've made is even the more important point, which is that this is a tangential issue. This is just, if you want, a microcosm. This is just a tip of the iceberg. The bigger issue is the Ghana-Bulgaria relationship and how we can develop it, and the cooperation and so on and so forth. I'm looking forward to having closed-door discussions with you, and I believe that by the time you be leaving this office, you and I will have a clear pathway as to how we resolve this matter.
The two subsequently went into a closed-door meeting. Key among the many decisions taken was the setting up of a 3-member committee to ensure the implementation of the recommendations in the report of the sole enquirer.
On behalf of the government and people of Bulgaria, he thanked the president for his leadership, and I assured him that the desires of the president in resolving this matter is one that I, as his servant for the Ministry of Lands, will carry through to the letter, and therefore we'll work together. Arising out of the meeting is a team which has been established, chaired by or headed by my Deputy Minister responsible for Lands and Natural Resources, Honorable Benito Usibio, and with the Technical Director for Lands at the Ministry and a representative of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to seek to mediate over this matter and to get into this matter to find what the sole enquirer referred to as an amicable solution to the dispute so that we can bring an end to it.
These developments took place in May 2022. A 3-member committee was put together by the Lands and Natural Resources Minister to see to the implementation of the recommendations of the sole enquirer. The sole enquirer recommended sanctions against the supposed private developer who caused the destruction of the embassy's building. He also recommended that compensation be paid to the government of Bulgaria. It is over a month and it appears government is yet to honor its assurances. Updating the public on the actions taken by the government of Ghana, the Bulgarian Honorary Consul to Ghana, Nicholas Van Stelden, said there have been some assurances from their Ghanaian counterparts of a financial compensation.
The discussion with the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, and the Minister was very blunt and direct, and he asked, what does Bulgaria want? And our Ambassador Janko Jordanov answered that Bulgaria wants compensation for the loss of the embassy and the embassy land, and that's what the Minister said he will be working on. The Minister promised to appoint a 3-person committee, which was going to be led by the Deputy Minister Benito Owusu-Bio. And since then, 2 weeks ago, the Ambassador visited Ghana on a brief visit. I was informed by the Deputy Minister that they were not ready yet because it was a visit very short after the other visit. And last week I called the Deputy Minister and asked how far they are with a solution for Bulgaria. And I was answered that they'll be ready soon and come with a proposal. The ambassador said on the short term to rebuild an embassy is a little bit quick, and he preferred a financial settlement at that time. And I think the Deputy Minister is working on that.
Well, this issue has been lingering since 2017, thereabout. I mean, we've seen some action on the side or on the part of government. Sole enquirer appointed did his work, of course, made his own recommendations, amongst which is a compensation for the Bulgarian government, and as well as punishing the private developer and stopping him from continuing with the work there.
Yes, and also came out with found out that the eviction and demolition did not follow due process.
Exactly. So why are we not punishing this so-called private developer? I mean, any serious nation that really respects its diplomatic relations would have taken a bold step on this matter.
So they have to, I think the government has to go hard on this, because the Bulgarian ambassador to Ghana and Nigeria, that is Yanko, also then accused the Ghanaian government of breaching the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations and warned of far-reaching implications on diplomatic relations with Ghana. So we wouldn't want to have bad blood with Bulgaria. So certainly government has to go with the report from the Seoul Inquirer. And also if there is supposed to be a compensation that has to be done, we shouldn't be hearing the word very soon, very soon, very soon. There should be a timeline.
The lip service.
When is it going to be done? We are going to compensate them this day, this time, this place. So we will know that we have a good relationship between Ghana and Bulgaria.
And it will make sense. I mean, clearly, if we've given them the assurance that we're going to go ahead and compensate them, then really we should put action, or we should back our words with some action, make the payments. But more importantly, we should be punishing this private developer.
Yes.
I am more interested in that. But because you see, if he's left off the hook, somebody else
will do same.
And then we'll go round and come back to square
one. You always have to set examples to deter others from doing things.
Exactly. Anyways, send in your thoughts. We'd like to know what you make of the stories we've been discussing so far. The WhatsApp number is 0550585832. I'm here with Philip Nilate of the City Newsroom, and we're discussing some of the stories that made it into our major bulletin, CNR, here on City TV. But this is CNR Extra, and still to come. Commercial drivers on the Atonsu stretch of the Asinfosu Highway lament dangers posed by deteriorating state of the road. We'll bring you the details shortly. Stay with us.
My name is Acrobatic. People call me Who Knows Tomorrow. I don't want to hide the good things from the good people of Ghana. Let me tell you about watching your favorite kid show, movies, telenovelas, sports, news, etc. and etc. in crystal clear, high definition picture. This year we know come to play. Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy, Mr. Drew, and I'm going to show you how to pause and rewind live TV, and also program your HD Plus decoder to record shows when you're not home. HD Plus will take care. Shall you bring your phone, make a download my HD Plus app on it for you, so you can watch TV on your phone with free data every month.
My name is Gina, and this salon is where I work. Good morning to those who speak good English like I do. That's B, assistant madam. Always cleaning boss.
Efia, so can't you sweep the place? Do you know what I went through last night? I had to uninstall the whole of the night, but I managed to be here today.
That's Efia. She's in the Guinness Book of World Records for giving the most excuses.
I am not missing any drama today.
Ow! You're burning my scalp!
Baby, I messed up again. My family witches. I'm sure they've located the salon.
Hey, don't come and prophesy on me. That's Hannah, always acting religious.
I didn't see you on Sunday. I hope it's not about that gentleman.
Is he cheating? If he was just cheating, it wouldn't have been a problem.
He bought that foolish girl.
Sometimes you just have to figure out things you are doing or not doing right.
Especially with the bedroom things, maybe you're not doing it right.
Ask God for more styles.
Akramo is back. Look, today I have hip pad and buttocks pad.
You like this? Your buttocks is like my palm.
Which part of your body do they want?
I'm Gifty, the owner of this salon.
Good. Now that's our boss.
Hey!
Last time the wig cap we came to pick, you still haven't brought the money.
Ask Gina, I paid her.
She's all you know.
Even Ghana government does not know like this.
already met your new colleague, have you?
Are you straight?
No, I'm not. I'm crooked.
The Hairdressers, coming to you this August on City TV.
Welcome back. This is CNR Extra on City TV. My name is Nana Tufo and I'm here with Philip Ni-Late having a conversation about some of the stories that made it into our major bulletin. Now, before we continue, let's bring you some of the messages we have received via the WhatsApp number. The number again is 0550 585832. You can also send in your comments via Facebook, that's City TV GH. Also, City TV GH on Twitter as well. Send us your comments. Let us know what you think about the stories that we've been discussing so far. This one says, Richmond Asari from Agapi. I think the managers of the Mole Park need to do better. Training farmers on how to handle elephants who invade their farms obviously isn't solving the problem. This one says, CNR, the best. Government must put directives to the tour guides at Mole to be able to put measures to put on good structures to house the animals in the park to fetch the country some revenue. This is Okra Weissman. This one says, hello, good morning. I like your guy in the studio. His contributions are solid and on point. Sabina, clearly in reference to you, Philip.
Thank you.
This one says, is it not possible to name the private developer, whoever he or she is, and should that developer not be surcharged with the compensation? Should the taxpayer be burdened with this? This is Joe from Tadi, clearly in reference to the Bulgarian embassy story. Quite a salient point there.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're looking to punish people for where they err, then of course some of these suggestions should be looked at. Well, let's move on to some other stories, this time on roads, and we'll take you to the central region where commercial drivers who ply the Atonsu stretch of the Asinfosu highway, now this highway takes you to Obuasi, are really complaining about the deteriorating nature of the road.
Staying on roads, the Atonsu stretch of the Asinfosu highway that connects to Obuasi and other adjoining communities has become a death trap, according to commercial drivers who use the stretch. Now, huge gullies and potholes have adorned portions of the stretch, creating huge gridlock and slowing down business activities. Our Central Regional correspondent, Calvis Tete, has more in the following report.
The 5-kilometer Atonsu stretch of the Asinfosu highway connects to Dunkwa Onofing, to Obuasi, through to Kumasi in the Ashanti region. According to drivers and residents who use the road, the bad nature of the road is negatively affecting their commute on the stretch. They also complained of choke drains along the Asinfosu Training College area, thus affecting the road anytime it rains. Commercial drivers who ply the stretch say the deplorable nature of the road is affecting their vehicles, thus their constant visit to mechanics. They want the situation to be addressed, especially the road that connects to part of Dunkwa Onofing and the Ashanti region.
Because go joint in a car, and maybe a Capane, ya, you bit me a use soon be so many months and I say, because of Quine and check near two, near boo. Another way, Quanas with at Tianintino, and my accident, nay. Sanya Mania Mana, a course or our Quanas over the way I had Tiana. It's you to see a Giro Yabatre. Because if you know, you're simple, the Yamiad Bombay bridge in egg, can I first in the name your cry? It's unity big cheer for swinging to get with Genetri. Said a being Unibet chance and all because Banus resada since Unibeco Winjimu and I said Betchicano at the Yako. Into quantity of problem on Hopa, Yaquanity and Yakura, Pity, a Saint Plus or Bessin keep with dear. A quan in your pot was un quan.
One dear Brepa, Kufo Bassi, Bassis and Casimir be an anasim. At a Carcassibia more but one. Your good jack a BB, say a bro, Hapana. Nina so problem if you first school. You sooner the one in a gat on a hell you. And that way so mercy. Nti edu ha wo say ebu fa ha. This is so to na sa wo ba ha. Tito break ba ko na cross mo say esua. E ma kwan nti nsuo no ba. We yim kra ho no so etwuki. Etutu kra so e 3 years de ya ya.
Tiro nsuo twa ha ya pa nsuo no etwu fa kwan anim. E ma ka se kwamba edu ma ka de nsuo de ya ne traffic de yemfa anya hwe wo ase. Nti ha de in fact ye bre wa ha pa ye bre wa pa ya boso ba se na mo bia amba. Ande e ba ne se bia MC for no ha mo ba assemblyman for ne ba e ba hwen so ye tia na tie senior man
sisi a wohwa ha se na nsuo twa ha hina ya man sisi ka afi he ba o se ye gina kopem time asaka we e ba besi ansa na sometimes kura no aya accident kura okay wa ha se nkwa school wa ha se nti nkwala cross up and down nti no wo me didi sa abai buana se wo mu be ma e ba man ya so ya wa ha ne ya ho atoye.
Meanwhile, residents are complaining of the recklessness of some drivers on the stretch, which in most instances result in fatalities. Their request is for speed ramps to be included when construction starts.
STC bus free takwade ko and rongo no be car ha be 2 hours. Omo blay pa ansa no mutumi e twe car no e free amona no. Nti nsuo ni de eto a ha na car sa betutom. Ba ne san so a ya no kra Friday ni de ye hu ni ye kra nyame adompe kan ye papa.
Year of roads. Just look and hear, are we really
year
working?
Of roads, but the roads are deteriorating in my view because of lack of maintenance. Because this road that we saw on our screens, clearly it's maintenance. You notice that a part of it has developed potholes. You said you go in to fix it. That comes with funds. Some funds must be raised to ensure that maintenance work is done. And also shoddy work must be something that the government must pay attention to, and contractors that are being awarded these contracts. So I think that it has to be fixed.
Clearly, hopefully duty bearers are watching and listening, and they will take some cue from that. They know what to do. That's not for us to sit here and to advise them. Based on their qualifications, they were appointed to key positions, and so we are hopeful that the right thing will be done. But many thanks to you, Philip Ni Latte. My name is Nanatufo Boati. Many thanks to you for choosing City TV and, of course, watching CNR Extra. We'll see you again. Goodbye.